Hi there, it's Mary with Mary's Stampin' Cafe. Thank you for participating in my Double Wonder One Sheet Wonder specialty class. Now, the in-person class has finished and we had a really wonderful time. And I want to let you know that you can use the links below and click on my blog that will have all of the pictures for all of the 13 wonderful projects that you'll get to create. Now, I'm creating this video today because I want to share a little tips and tricks and just talk about the projects, share with you a little bit about how the projects were designed, how to read your template, and then you get to put your own creative spin on all of the projects. Now, when it comes to the two bonus projects, I do want to give you a couple of tips and tricks because one is a fabulous shaker card that you'll love. I hope you enjoy this specialty class, and we'll look for some other ones that I'll be putting together for the future. So I'm going to switch my camera around and we will get started. In your package, you received this template. This is a Double Wonder One Sheet Wonder created by Shannon West, who is a Stampin' Up! Employee and demonstrator. And demonstrator Julie Davison went ahead and created this layout and tutorial for you. And so thank you so much to Julie for all her efforts in putting this together so I would not have to. Now, what I want you to see first off in your template sheet is you have it labeled Layout 1. You'll be doing 4 cards, and this is kind of the idea of it laid out here. I'll show you my projects because it doesn't have to go horizontally like this. You can also turn it to go vertical and have some variety. Then you have layout 2 will also be 4 cards. Then layout 3, 2 cards. And it shows you a little sketch here. And then you have a 4th layout, which is just a bonus card because you'll get a few extra little pieces right here that you can use to create that. And then from there, I have 2 additional bonus projects for you that I know you'll just love. So, first things first, what I want to share with you is that you will be getting and opening your beautiful package of your 12 by 12 frames and flowers specialty paper. Now what I want to show you on this and what you will want to do is in your kit you have a case, a Stampin' Up! Case. What you are going to be doing is taking apart your specialty ephemera pieces and put them into your case, and let me show you what I mean by that. So you have your 3, there's 1, 2, and then you're going to come across a piece like this that has these cards, these layering pieces. So set that aside and you'll get to your 3rd piece of designer series paper, and then you'll get 2 more sheets of ephemera pieces. Now these will all start coming apart, so what I want you to do first is when you open up your package is to go ahead and pop out all of your parts and pieces. Make a great pile for yourself or simply grab that stamping case, open it up, and start putting your pieces right inside. Let me tell you what, this is what I have left out of my parts and pieces, and that's after designing 13 projects. So there are so many beautiful ephemera pieces. So you'll go ahead and take them apart. You'll also see that on this piece here that I'm doing, you'll end up with this strip here. Well, don't get rid of that. You can use this strip for lots of different things. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm setting aside this one right here. I'm going to share this particular one with you that has the diamond window. This is going to be for one of your bonus projects. So just think about that one and keep it in your brain so you're not searching all over for it when it comes time for it. I love this beautiful piece here. So you get one sheet of these layering pieces as well as 2 windows. This is a really great window too. And so you get those. You can go ahead and discard these pieces. And then what you need to do is take time now to pop out all of these fabulous parts and pieces that you will be able to use when designing your cards. Now, you're going to see when you check out the blog that these little flowers, you get lots of these little flowers, but people on the in-person, they were really liking the little flowers, and I even broke into my stash so that they could have even more little flowers. But you will get a bunch of these beautiful little flowers and all sorts of fabulous ephemera things that are just beautifully designed and colored. So that's what you need to do, is you need to take both of those sheets apart and put it into your stamping case. Okay, so that's your step number 1 for that. Then you'll have them all nicely organized in your stamp case that was included in the class. Okay, that's the first tip and the first task that you need to do. Now, once you have done that, what you want to think about is, because it's a double wonder, one sheet wonder, we're going to double your creativity. We're going to double your fun of getting a variety of cards. What you need to do is you need to choose 2 pieces, 2 of the 3 pieces. Okay, and here are the 3 pieces that you get included. They're 12 by 12, and so you want to take a look at them, flip over and take a look at the back side, and think about what 2 parts do you want to use. Now, I might suggest that choosing these 2 might not be the best idea, just because as I do that, when I'm going to be working on my projects, we're going to be mixing and matching these, and you might think to yourself, well, if I want to flip over and use the back side, they're both kind of that Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock, and so I'm thinking I might want to have something else that has the orange background here, the Calypso Coral or the Pumpkin Pie. So I really like these 2 together, because you've got this beautiful deep color with that. You've got this light color with this. Or another way you could go about it is to put these 2 together so that you can be using this, and how nicely that goes together, right? Even those 2 go together nicely. So you have to pick out 2 pieces of your 12 by 12. Once you've picked those 2 pieces, you're going to now want your trimmer, because what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the template. Now, layout, the way they have them written here, we tend to want to read left to right, but that's not how this template's made. We're going to take a look at this first layout right here, layout number 1, 4 cards. It says cut 4.5 off the end of the designer paper and cut into 1.5 by 3 pieces. Well, all I'm simply going to do is, first off, I'm going to cut my 2 pieces of 12 by 12 designer paper in half into a 6 by 12. That's the first thing we need to do, because we're creating our 1 sheet. So once you've cut those 2 papers in half, put the other half aside. You just need your 1 6 by 12 of both your pieces. There we go. So now if we think about it being a 1 sheet wonder, there you go. There's your 12 by 12 piece, right? But we're going to have some fun. So now, looking at my guide, my paper is going to turn and be just like this for my template. Okay? So when it says I'm going to cut to 4.5, I'm going to put the paper in my trimmer and I'm going to cut to 4.5. So let me grab my trimmer again and I'll do that. So I'm going to come to 4.5 and cut. Now I know that you may have your trimmer turned the other way. I am left-handed, so. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do is that we need to cut this that we just did in half. So I'm going to turn it, and it's at 6. I'm going to then cut it at 3. Okay. So now think about you having your 2 pieces here. This is the top right here, and this is the bottom. They're both 3 inches, 3 inches, and now I need to make 1.5 inch strips. Okay, so now what I actually can do, I can put these together, and I can come in, go to my 1.5, just go a couple of times, then I'm going to go to 1.5 and do it again. And that's all I need to do, because I will have 3. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's perfect because you need 3 strips for each card. Okay, so now basically what it says is you're going to mix and match your pieces. Now when I look at this, I tend to see that maybe this particular design should be going this way. But when I look at this piece right here, how I cut it, it needs to be going this way vertically. So that gives me some variety, unless I'm going to use the back side. Okay, so I'm going to show you the 3 cards. Or the 4 cards, excuse me, that you will be creating or that are included in your kit. So in your kit, you have gotten all of the consumable cardstocks, embossing, your labels, all of those have already been done for you. So in this particular one, you have 2 Calypso Coral cards. And notice one I have going vertical, one I have going across. Then you have 2 Lost Lagoon cards. And again, got 1 horizontal and 1 vertical. Now you will have 2 embossed layers for your Calypso Coral, and they will be the full size of the card. So notice I have the gap on mine. I decided I wanted it to be the full card front so the sides would show the pattern more. You also will have your white pieces for the insides of your card, and you can embellish however you would like. Use those ephemera pieces on the inside. You also have your embellishments. You have your rainbow adhesive dots. Use those to embellish. Okay? So this was just what I came up with. You'll have your circle as die cut out. You'll have ribbon. And you just get to pull those ephemera pieces and design however you would like. Your creativity will go off the charts. With the 2 Lost Lagoon pieces, or cards, you'll see that on the background, I stamped the flowers from the Poised Peony stamp set. It was an option to add that stamp set, and that's what I did. I did some inking with the Lost Lagoon, inked up the little flowers, and did a background. and then you can add it to the front of your card. I want you to notice on this card it has a Calypso Coral frame. You will not have a Calypso Coral frame. It will be white. All 4 cards will have a white mat for your bits and parts and pieces. So it would be fun just for a minute to take a look here. If I put that one there, I would then maybe put that one there, and then I would put that one there if I were to design with the strips I just cut out. The other thing you could do, maybe you want to do one that has the same for all 3 pieces. That's great too. So just think about all the fun thing you can do with these 4 projects. Dive into all those ephemera pieces and have fun. Now, when it comes to the stamping of the sentiments, I did have that blog that talked about in the class what I would be using. And the Poised Peony stamp set was used for all 3 of these sentiments. For all 13 cards, I tried to give a good variety in thinking of different occasions. So those gave us some great ones. The other set that I pulled in that I really, really like is the Something Fancy stamp set. I love this one. This one also coordinates with the Something Fancy dies. And I used a lot of these dies and the Something Fancy dies for your sentiments and your layering pieces for those sentiments. Okay. You can use whatever stamp sets you have that would work for that. Okay. All right, so that was it for those first layout cards. You can go ahead and create those, enjoy them. Let's talk about layout 2. Now you'll have your 2 pieces that look just like this now, and we'll go to the next thing. So let me grab my trimmer. I want to show you how you do that. And it says that we want to now have a 4-inch wide strip. So the 4 inches is right there, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, put my designer paper. It's going to be a little bit longer this way horizontally, so make sure you've got it that way. And I'm going to go to 4. And I'll go ahead and cut that. Now I'm going to take this piece and set it aside because that's going to be for my layout 3. Now, what does it tell me that I need to do? It says that I'm going to cut 4 inches off the end, and it says cut 3/4 inch off the end and set aside for layout 3. So what I need to do, I need to take 3/4 off this end because right now this paper's 6 inches, and it says I'm going to have 1 inch by 5 1/4. That's why if I take 3/4 off this bottom, I'll have 5 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to turn the paper and I'm going to go to 3/4. I'm going to use this side of my trimmer and I'm going to go to 3/4 and I'm going to take that off. Now it says for you to set those aside to use on your layout 3. So I'm going to set those right next to me with my designer paper. Now the next thing, I see my strips need to be 1 inch and I'm going to have 4 of them. You see that? And you can look on your sheet as well. So it says cut the remaining pieces into 1 inch strips. All right, there we go. So now I have the paper the long way again. It's 5 1/4. Yep. I'm going to do 1 inch strips. And so I'm just going to use my 1 inch on the right hand side of my trimmer. There's my 1. There's 1. And one more at 1 inch. Oh, and I don't, I didn't do 1 inch. No, I did not. Oh no, that's okay. I'm just showing you what you're doing. I actually cut it the wrong place, and that's okay. All right. So now you have your 1 inch by 5 1/4 inch strips. You'll have just as many as you did for the first card, because now we're going to go into layout 2. Okay? So we've got these fantastic strips. I do like that. And then with this, we can mix and match and have a great time. So let me show you these. Okay, now I want to share with you right here. It says score one end of the card base at 1 1/4. So you will have 2 Calypso Coral, 1 Lost Lagoon, and 1 white. What I want to show you is what they mean by that is your cards folded in half like this, your card base, right? And they say fold back or score one end of your card base at 1 1/4, which I did here, and then it said to fold it back. Now you can glue that down and so it just opens like this, or you can have it open like this, okay? What's really nice about that 1 1/4 is your strips are 1 inch and it gives a nice little border around, okay? So on this card here, in your card supplies, you will have an embossed piece that fits right there. Your cardstocks have already been scored for you, so you don't need to do that. You just need to decide if you want to glue that flap down so the card lays flat. So there's that one. Now this card is similar except that I didn't do any of the scoring. I just glued the strips to the front with the layer, and then I embellished from there. I used some of the ephemera and I raised it up with dimensionals, my little sprigs. So much fun to design and create. We're getting into the holidays here on this one. Used one of the wreaths, added some of the sprigs, and you'll have your silver twine. Sending tidings of comfort and joy. This one here, we're using a time-worn embossing folder on that one. And this one here, the tile I'm using mostly that everybody loves is the Eyelet 3D embossing folder. The other, for the Christmas card, I use the Distress tile. Love both of those embossing folders. So you can see how they flap. I might go ahead and glue mine down because they do pop up a little bit. So you have 2 that have that fold and are kind of fun folds, and then you have 2 that are standard cards. This white one is the sympathy card, and it uses many of the pieces. The nice beautiful corner piece, another one corners tucked in there, some more of these beautiful swag pieces, and then stitched rectangles was used to create the rectangle for that. And on the inside of this card, you will have a double layer. I always try to do that whenever there's a white base. And there again, using your ephemera on the inside of the card. One thing I want you to know on these cards that open up like this, both of your inside whites will be 5 1/4 by 4. They will come all the way to this edge. You basically just take your strip and you glue it right on top of your white layer, okay? So there are your 4. Layout number 2. You will have so much fun creating your own. Now let's take a look at our layout for this sketch. And there's only 2 cards, which is great fun. So it says cut the remaining 3.5 inch by 6 piece into 2 3.5 by 2 1/4. So what does that mean? That is pretty easy. I've got my strips that I had from before. This piece right here is 3.5. I don't need to do anything with it. That's what's left of our 6 by 12 that we're using. It says you're going to do 2 of them at 3.5 by 2 1/4. So I'm simply going to turn, go to 2 1/4, and cut. Set it aside. I'm going to go to 2 1/4 again. Okay. Now this piece right here is what's left, and that's going to make this right here. It says extra pieces. You're going to cut 2 of them, 1 3/4 by 1 1/2. All right, so this piece right now is 1 1/2. So I'm going to turn it now, and I'm going to do it at 1 3/4. So what I've done is I've got myself four squares. And these 4 little squares are going to make up your one of your bonus projects. Could lay it out something like this. Okay, so set those squares aside. Now here are my 4 pieces. That one could go this way. I didn't think about it, but it could go this way. Now I want to let you know, let me show the 2 cards to you. Here are the 2 projects. And in these 2 projects, it talked about having those additional strips set aside to use on your layout 3, and that's these strips right here. They would go across the center of your cards when you take a look at the layout right here. See how it has that black strip going across? That would be these strips right here, but I didn't use them that way. Once I share these cards with you, these would be great for just the inside layer inside the card, because on this one here I've included some beautiful pretty peacock with gold thread running through it, and you can't see it very well on my card because I didn't do very well on making sure it showed, but that's what I did across this card. So I didn't use that strip. Now this one here is Ascending Caring Thoughts. I don't have anything on this side, but you will have a layer for the inside of your card. You'll have a Calypso Coral, or you will have Lost Lagoon, and then another white layer. I always like to add those additional layers on the inside, and you have that in your packet. This one here, I'm going to show you what I did to get this going across here. In your parts and pieces of all those wonderful ephemeras, you're going to have a piece like this. So this is what I used for this, okay? So what I'm going to show you is a great way to just add interest. I could just have put this on the front and stamped it, but everything would look very, very flat. So what I did is I came in with my trimmer, I lined up, and I cut off the top, and I cut off the bottom, so I would just be left with the rectangle. Okay? Once I had that, I went ahead and I stamped my sentiment, and then I mounted it onto a piece of the Calypso Coral, which you will have in your kit. Okay? There we go. Then, once you do that, I raised this up with dimensionals, and then I went ahead and I tucked the top and bottom back in. One thing you have to be careful about is don't tuck it too far because you don't want it to get too squatty. So just get it right under there and glue it. I also added a couple more parts of my ephemeras and stuck them right down in underneath. Little glue on the back and just popped them in, okay? Then I added a couple of my embellishments. Again, you will have a cardstock layer. I would suggest using the Calypso Coral on the inside here with your white layer and use the Lost Lagoon on the other. So that's layer 3. This one here has one of the swags. It also has 2 of the other leaf pieces. So there's your layout 3. Now let's take a look at what we got going on here for these 4 pieces that are left of your double one sheet wonder sheets. So the card that I designed looks like this. It's layered Pretty Peacock with Lost Lagoon, and then there's a white mat. And you arrange your pieces however you would like on your mat. You have a strip and the beautiful ephemera however you want to design your card. And on the inside, I added another piece there. So again, you are getting all of the cardstocks and the layers and the tags and all of those things. You're going to cut your papers, your 2 6x12 pieces of Designer Series paper, just like we did through here. Use the template to help you, and you'll have created those amazing cards. Now let's get to the 2 bonus projects. I'm going to share the 2 bonus projects with you. This is bonus project number, well, I'm going to say it's bonus project number 1, even though they said the bonus card for the template. But what I did on this, again, I told you that we'd be using the this one frame here. I stamped my Poised Peony Large flower. I colored it and then I fussy cut it out and I mounted it with dimensionals. You have this Celebrate shadowed die cut word. It's already done for you. I put a dimensional on this side and then just glue here. And then I have on the inside just a cute little flower from the stamp set there. I added some different gems and super fun. Then here is your next bonus card. So fun. I put on mine a little something just for you. And then on the inside it says, keep it in case you need it sometime. And there's a pocket here to put a little gift card, maybe a coffee card, right? And it is a fun shaker card. And I want to show you, I want to take a minute to show you how easy it is to do this shaker by using a clear envelope. So I just want to show that to you. And I'm going to show you that part too. All right? Okay. So I'm going to grab my thing here. I have a piece of white cardstock, and then Stampin' Up's clear medium envelopes are perfect for making your shaker. So I'm going to grab one of those. You have this in your kit all set up and ready to go, but I'm just showing you how it's done. So this card was cut about the same width of the envelope, which was close to 4.5. I didn't want to make it 4.5 exactly, or it was too tight of a fit. Then I went ahead and I cut it at 3 3/4 because that's about the width of this frame. This frame is 3 3/4, so I went just a little bit smaller than it so it doesn't, the lines don't show. So what you're going to want to do, and yours is already done for you, is you're going to put your white cardstock all the way down in. You want to make sure it's a nice tight fit because you do not want your sequins to go where they're not supposed to. Now I have some sequins here that do not really match at all, but I just want to show you. I ran out of my frosted dots from the class, so I'm just going to grab a couple, just a packet here so I can show you. You have a nice packet in your kit that has your sequins, in your embellishments. So you're going to take that, pop the whole thing down in there, and you just empty the bag. Okay? And so now you got those shakers in. They're not going to go to the front because you've got that card pushed all the way down at the bottom. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and trim just this top little tab off. And that's because if I don't and I fold it over, it's going to go past the bottom here, and I don't want it to do that. So the next thing I'm going to do, oh, you know what I just did, you guys? I wanted my sequins on the other side. They needed to be over here because this is going to fold over and glue this way. Shame on me. So that's okay. I am going to lift up my card and we're going to play the switch game. I think I can do it. Go down, go down, go down, go down. All right. Okay, so you want your sequins to be on the same side as the flap here, so when it folds over, it's going to fold back. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to fold it back. I'm going to lay it down. And now you have your shaker. How fun is that, right? So then what you're going to do is you're simply going to bring this over. You're going to set it over top, and you're going to want to do a bit of gluing. And I would suggest liquid glue. You're just going to kind of come around. Don't go all the way out to the edge. There is a little bit of a lip. You could also use foam strips if you wanted to. You could use dimensionals to dimensional it up if you would like to. This has some poof to it, so that's okay. Then it's just going to go over top. Okay. Then you're going to take the whole thing, glue the whole back side, and put it down onto your card base. How fun is that? Then I simply used a dimensional and some 2 dimensionals on my sentiment piece going across here. And you know what? I think those pinks look pretty good. There's a bit of kind of the petal pink that's going on here, so I think it works. But isn't that fun? What a fun way to make lickety-split shaker without all the window sheets and the foam strips right around where you want your shaker to be. I just think it's a great, great alternative. And they shake so well. A lot of times when I've done little shaker cards, they don't shake good, but these shake really well. So I hope you really like this shaker card. It has some of the champagne dots. It has the loose frosted dots. You've got a bunch and you'll love it. So let's talk about our little pocket inside here. So you will want to get one of your layering pieces out of your box. And I will use this one just to show you how to make your little pocket for your coffee card. And basically, I took a look at how long this was. And this is a layering piece, so it's 5 inches. Well, half of 5 inches is 2.5. So I just cut it at 2.5. Yes, did I cut it at 2.5? That looks like 2.5. Let me just make sure. Yes, 2.5 was to look at was a little deceiving. 2.5. Okay. So now you could do, when you do another shaker card, because you've had so much fun. All right, so then from there, basically what I do is I just turn up one side. I'm not going to even score. I'm just going to use my fingers. Just a little bit. Like a 1/8 of an inch. Then I'm going to come over to the other side and do the same thing. I'm not going to fold up the bottom. And the reason for that is because when you fold up the bottom and you try to stick a card down in there, it very well can get caught on that pocket. So we're just going to run our glue right along the bottom because we don't need any gift card popping out the bottom, right? Then we're going to come back over and it is glued so I can't, and then you lay it right down and press it until it stays. And then you've got a perfect pocket that will hold your gift card. So perfect birthday, thinking of you, just great. All right. Well, that is it. You have your kit that has your frames and flowers, specialty paper. You have your case to sort all your ephemera parts and pieces to store them. You have all the parts and pieces you need for all of your projects. You've got your template and you are ready to create all of your projects. I would love to see your projects when they're done. So I would hope, I'm going to switch over. I hope those tips and tricks were helpful to you. You can watch as many times. And again, I'm going to have the link down below for my blog, because my blog will have all the layouts. It will talk to you about each layout. It'll have examples from some of the people that were at the in-person class. I snapped some of their cards so you can see some ideas they came up with too. Remember, these are your projects to enjoy, so have fun with all those ephemera parts and pieces and create fabulous cards. And again, share them with me. You can, on the Stampin' Cafe, if you're part of that Facebook group, you can upload some there and share them, or you can just message me and share them that way too. Thank you so much for participating in this class. I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. Until next time, happy stampin'.